All right, welcome to Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kareem with Brandon the Grizzly, and we got Perp Minded special guest with us today. What is up, everybody?
Herp, yeah.
Welcome. We're almost there. We're almost at the weekend.
Oh yeah, yep. But we are talking about another Halloween must watch, and we're going to talk about The Exorcist, the original from 1973. But before we do, Perp, you want to let everyone know where they can find you and what you're doing on your channel right now?
I do a lot of things. Of course, channel's name is Perp Minded. I talk everything from movies, TV shows, somewhat anime, just because YouTube just be fishy with that, so I don't really even don't even like go that far. But I also do live streams like the Perp Show, which I haven't done that, but I also have the award show that's coming out like the end of the year at some point, and I also do a horror podcast called Horror Never Dies. I do that seasonally, so it's like 10 episodes. We're on like our last 4 episodes down. That's gonna be Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going over there.
Cool.
He's also a man who sees movies before anything else, anyone else. I don't know how. I try to get to the movie theater, and somehow I watch the movie, I do my reaction, and I look on my phone, and Perp already has a review for the movie.
Yep.
It's already
happened. Preparation is big on my end. Like I'll just make a bunch of thumbnails. Like I got a bunch of thumbnails that I'm just sitting on. I'm just probably never going to use, but like just in case. So once I get done watching that movie, I got that shit ready already. So
nice.
Jealous.
How many movies are you at right now for the year?
I'm at 97. So I got like 3 more before. Like so by this weekend, I should be over 100. So I don't know which one's going to be the 100. Yeah,
he's gonna be at 100, and I'm going to be at 58.
That's still impressive. Like last year, I did like 70 something. So like there's people that have watched way more than me because they got way more access. Like they go to those festivals that are like down south or in Toronto or something like that. Which I want to go one of these days because I want to see stuff early.
The stuff out west, you have those festivals are awesome. You're seeing those indie festivals. You see 10, 15 movies that are amazing.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. So yeah, so go check out Perp Minded, especially right now, the month of October with Halloween, doing all this horror stuff like that. So check him out. But we are going to talk about The Exorcist, 1973. So we're going to start off with just kind of like what we thought about it, how it makes us feel. And full spoilers if you haven't seen this movie yet. Then I don't know what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 50 years. I don't know what rock you're under, man. But we're gonna talk about everything. I'll let Perp have you started with this. What you think about it? How'd you feel about it?
I love The Exorcist. It's not quite my favorite. I would say it's one of my favorites because like The Shining is still my favorite, but it just I was talking about this in the back, like that The Exorcist set such a high bar for like that anything like fall short, even though they have made really interesting possession movies, they haven't really gotten close to what The Exorcist has brought. And just at that time, nobody was really doing that, and they kind of took advantage of that and advantage of just the controversy. So it's just a fascinating kind of movie to really look at, being it that like movies as a whole have been over like 100 years, and it's like that's like at 50 it's really impressive. And just the practical effects and stuff that are used throughout that, like they don't use nothing digital or anything, everything's just raw. And that's why I think it's just something that can't be duplicated or just replicated or anything like that, and why it set such a high bar and why I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, all the practical effects for me is still like kind of crazy. A lot of people want to compare that it doesn't hold up, because I know, and we were talking about this a little bit before too, backstage. But you can't compare a movie that's 50 years old and like, the graphics don't look good. I was like, yeah, but That's all practical. None of that CGI. That alone is a feat to do.
And I disagree with that because like also like if you guys ever have Shudder or you're on there, I was talking about this like you should watch a documentary where the director kind of goes into just his thought process and his breakdown of the film and how they came up with Reagan's voice it will blow your mind. Like I'm like, bro, that's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Like they do a lot of like practical stuff in there that just like most films today will rely on special effects to kind of get that done. But like it's just crazy with how they just went about that. So I have to disagree with somebody saying like the effects don't hold up because it's like that's prosthetics and stuff. It's just the room is actually cold. That's why you can actually see their breath. It's not digitally like what I'm saying. Like
Linda Blair actually broke her back. Which is crazy. So okay, cool. Brandman, what you think? How you feel about Exorcist?
One of the reasons I think this movie still holds up is because of the way that it really establishes atmosphere and the buildup is really, really good. I think it's one of the it's one of the originals. It's one of the OGs that really kind of set the standard for horror. And I think a lot of it is anchored by the performances of Linda Blair and Mia Farrow. It's slipping my mind the actor who played Father Merrin in particular, the name of that actor. But just the tone of the movie, the build up, the color palette. They use like a lot of kind of like muted colors, like kind of like I remember there being like a muted like gray and like a muted kind of like turquoise feel to it from time to time, if I'm remembering correctly. But just everything about it from a production standpoint to an aesthetic standpoint to the acting standpoint, everything just flowed. And I think that's everything that they did. William Friedkin made all the right moves, and that's why it's so memorable. It is a regular Halloween watch for me, and it's interesting. It didn't become a Halloween watch for me until I was like an adult. but yeah, I think there's a lot to be appreciated. It's it's a must watch for me. Halloween season every October at some point I'm putting it on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Brian?
I mean, everyone knows I don't like horror that much, but I watch a lot of stuff and I can't help it. This movie changed the game. I mean, do you realize that little kids were allowed to see this when it first was released? Do you realize that they changed rating of movies based upon this movie? People were fainting, people were passing out, people were throwing up. That's how realistic this movie is. So to say that it doesn't hold up just doesn't make any sense to me because I mean, people had actual reactions to this stuff. Maybe we got desensitized to a lot of it, but it still is amazing. You still believe what you're seeing. The father still looks scared. Like all these things are still accurate, and the idea that you're dealing with the devil himself is just bone chilling. So I think this is not just this is my top 5 horror movies ever. People died. Like this is for real. This is real. So I'm all about this.
Yeah. This is for me. Yeah, this one is definitely just one. I mean, especially an older movie like this. You got to put yourself back at that time. Early 70s. This came out. Like we're so desensitized now, where you're like, it don't phase me. But it's like this was all new. It was banned. I mean, like you said, people were passing out, fainting, throwing up in the theater. The
churches were protesting.
Yeah, of course that. People thought like if you watch this movie, you're gonna bring home a demon with you, or something along those lines. The filmmakers got sued, because of how graphic what the images that they saw on screen were. So I don't know if any other movie that we get now, say like Evil Dead Rise was one that just came out and those graphics were pretty good, but that wouldn't be around if it wasn't for this, and like I think per all you guys said, this was the first. Yeah, I think every other movie's trying to live up to this standard.
But I was gonna say about like just the way it looks. It's like when you watch that documentary, you realize like the beginning of that movie where they're at that dig site. That's a real like they were legit like that's a legit dig site, and they just like shot around it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like it's stuff like that that kept the movie authentic, like the locations and going from being was it Iraq or something like that to like being in just a room and just that isolation and stuff like that, and everything that's going on with like the different priests and stuff, like with his mom and how that kind of played into the story as well. It's just a lot of things that brought this stuff together that because people want to say like elevated horror. I feel like this would be technically elevated horror because it's like it really makes you think, and it's like it's not one of those turn your brain off. Like they actually trying to tell you a whole story, and there's a whole theme throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, and as like the possession gets progressively worse and worse and worse. Even the way that it ends, is kind of like, I don't want to spoil that part, I guess. Even though I said what I said in the beginning, but even the way the movie ends is kind of like you're sitting back, you're like, damn, like that like it's not how you expected a movie like this to end, especially like in a movie like from back then. It's like the good guys didn't really win, like so it's this.
That's what I kind of like about it. It's
Right. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. But I think that's what like messed everyone up because like the way it ended, the good guys they win, but not really, and and it just I mean, just there's a lot of death in it. There's a lot of profanity, a lot of
there's a lot of sexual content.
A lot of stuff like
the
that.
Crucifix scene.
The crucifix scene is like, what the F?
Lick me.
Whoa!
Crazy.
Like, oh my god!
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, even like the voices and stuff like that. It's pretty creepy. Like especially as a kid, I can't even imagine going to see this as a kid, and it's like, what the hell? Like, and I know a lot of like once it started getting the rumor, a lot of kids they're like, no, you can't go see it, and
but it was rated R, and that was the time when they used to let kids see rated R movies until they realized it got rated X. Like you cannot go see this. They had to change the rating system based upon this movie. That's crazy.
They actually be more strict on it. I don't know the full aspect. Maybe in the documentary they talk about it, but like you said, like kids were going, and then once parents found out what it was, they kind of stopped. It was like, no, you can't let my kid go into this movie, And then I know a lot of adults now, when they were kids then, that would like sneak and go see this movie, and I'm like, it was like just a thing that changed so much stuff,
Even the weird stuff that you would see in documentaries, like the cursed set and stuff, like weird things would happen with people on set or just off set, and what I'm saying, that I think they said that house or whatever caught fire at one point, and just everything like kind of was burning besides Reagan's room and stuff, which is really creepy.
In the room too. I didn't know that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, a lot of people. I think 9 people died. They were either somehow connected to somebody that was on production.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which that's a lot of people. And like because one or two, like it's a coincidence. I get life happens, but 9, like wow, that's
very bizarre. Very bizarre. Because it's definitely you're definitely like when you're making those types of movies, I'm pretty sure like you got to keep in mind that you're like whether you believe in the spirits or not, like you are kind of tapping into something that does exist. So it's very interesting, and it just kind of helps build the myth around the movie itself and why it was so powerful, and at that time.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm afraid of it. Right there. I don't mess with stuff that I can't mess with. Like if I can't fight it, I don't mess with it. That's just me.
Yeah, I think I watched Kenny Sparks just release his video about his review on this one. So I'll leave a link up here for it. And he put like, he goes, there's some rules in the house. We don't summon things. We don't ask to be summoned. We don't mess with Ouija. Like, we do not mess with those things in this house. And I'm like, that is a good rule to have.
Yep.
Like,
That's like what kind of kicked it off. Once like Reagan pulled out the Ouija board, I was like, what the hell is this doing? And like she's like sitting there, like they're kind of using it. I was like, man, right there. And then when she's talking to her mom, it's like, yeah, my bed was rocking. What you mean your bed was rocking? Like, it's like little subtle things that were just kind of building up to the actual like possession. Her mood would change. Like, she'd be this happy-go-lucky girl, and then her whole mood would change as she keeps going to the doctors and stuff like that to try to figure out what's going on. There's nothing really going weird, like going on with her like brain patterns and stuff like that. Like, I loved all that.
Yeah, that was super cool. It's like medicine is not giving you the answer, so you have to start going in other directions, you know, which it's such a trope now, but being the first movie to ever do that, you know, or at least be the first movie popular and, you know, and do something like that was, like I said, a game changer. So with that being said, Perp, where are you gonna, are you watching this every Halloween season, or, you know, or is it just kind of like whenever or not?
You know, recently I watched it in theaters, so that was kind of like a really dope experience, considering like I've seen the movie several times, like when it's on TV or streaming or something like that. But I would definitely, if I'm in the mood for it, I definitely would watch it around Halloween. Probably not even just on Halloween, but like around the that season. But yeah, I definitely would say this would be a movie I'd kind of watch every so often around October.
Yeah. Okay. Brian, I kind of already know what
That
your
means-
answer is, but
That means I avoid it as much as I can,
yeah,
no matter what. If it's on TV, sometimes I just throw the TV out the window. I don't mess with it.
it's just easier to get a new TV.
Exactly. I'm not messing with it. You know, there's a few movies, you know, Eminem Man and this one and The Omen. I just don't mess with them. Yeah, that's one. Strike one.
Candyman.
I don't know.
You
I'll be out. So funny because I'm so real. It's things that you just don't do, you know. And then being in Chicago, of course, I don't mess with that. But you know, if it's on, I'm going the other way. I walked in the room once. My wife was watching it. I left the house. Done. Left the whole house. Hey, if it happened to her, it happened to her. That was it. You know, it was like
girls are like, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. I was like Drago. If she dies, she dies. I'm out.
What I missed?
So we're going around right now. Perp said he's gonna watch it, you know, around Halloween and probably more often too. Brian, I've said no. That no surprise. I think you already kind of hinted what you if this is on your watch list for the Halloween season or not, but
oh, absolutely.
Official answer. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. I will watch this every Halloween season. Certified horror classic, man. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One more thing I wanted to also mention about it is the theme song. I feel like it has one of the most iconic theme songs that, like, once you hear that, like, you know, like it's like with Halloween, you know exactly what movie that is. Even if you've never like watched the movie, you know, like, okay, that's The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Bitchkey did the whole soundtrack, right? The music of this?
Not sure.
I believe he did.
I'll have to look that up.
But I know that's iconic.
Yeah.
It really is. I know what to avoid, guys. That's all I know. I'm just saying I know what to avoid.
Yeah. That's definitely that. You know, and then it's also like, you know, something has become bigger than itself in a sense, where it gets parodied by everybody and everything. You know, you have like movies, funny movies, you know,
Scary
cartoons, scary movies, you know, like, you know, yeah. So once it becomes a parody, then that's
when you know you've made it, right?
That's when you know you made it. Exactly.
Heck, even Linda
You don't
Blair,
think that hurt?
Oh, what's that? I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
Brent.
Oh no,
No,
I
I
was
was
saying
just gonna say.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
Go
sorry.
All right,
No,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Perp. Go ahead, Perp.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you think like parodies kind of hurt? Think about when I watch this movie now.
On
I can't really
No,
take it that
or
serious.
it depends on what generation you're in. If you watched it before you watched the original, maybe. I'm sure a lot of people watched the parody and Scary Movie 2 before they saw the original Exorcist. Younger generations, or like other exorcism movies, like A Haunted House did it. But maybe. But I don't think it completely detracts the quality.
No.
But no, I was going to say even Linda Blair parodied her own movie Repossessed. If anyone's seen that one or heard of that one.
I think I
I
heard
haven't
about that.
seen that one.
The Leslie Nielsen, king of the parodies.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, they did that, and she played the possessed character as an adult.
That's funny.
Interesting.
But, yeah,
The
I don't
Boondocks
think
did it too. The Boondocks had an episode.
They did.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that episode.
Mm-hmm. It was
when Tom was possessed by Stick Peter.
Yeah. It was the first episode. It was like one of the first episodes, like second or third episode of season 2.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I gotta check that one out.
And I remember because that was the season I got my college roommate into it, who had never heard of the Boondocks before, had never watched it, and we would constantly watch it and quote it. I got him quoting it. I got him into the show, much to the annoyance of his girlfriend, because we would constantly quote it.
Nice.
The funniest thing about that. The funniest thing about that scene is where like they got Tom all strapped up like Reagan and stuff, and you got Uncle Ruckus in there, and he's just showing all these different things. He's like, "Here's a job application." He's like, "Ah," that's the actor just said he died. I'm just thinking that was funny. Like that was great.
I gotta watch it. But I would say the other way. I think parodies might help bring more people into seeing the movie that's making fun of. Because you're like, oh, that's funny. Where's that from? Oh, it's from this old movie. Maybe I'll check it out. And then then Family Guy does it, and then there's another other scary movie that makes fun of it, and stuff like that. So like after a few times, you're like, you know what? A lot of stuff I've watched talked about this. Maybe I go watch it. So I don't know.
Listen to other people that talk about it. I mean, they tell you this is the movie that shaped them. Directors say this movie shaped the way I see things, the way I view shots, the way I view horror. This has shaped so many lives, so many directors, so many producers. I mean, Warner Brothers had to deal with a lot of stuff, but they were known for horror movies for a while afterwards because of this stuff. So like, I'm just saying, it's not just iconic. It is the beginning.
With Believers coming out. So I think it's a perfect time to talk about the original, the first one, The Exorcist, one of the scariest movies of all time. So that's what we thought about it, what we feel about it, and how we like it, especially during the holiday of Halloween. But appreciate it. Perp Minded for coming in, hanging out with us. Make sure you check out his channel. We'll put a link in the description. And go over there, have fun with him. He's in our chat a lot, and we always appreciate him hanging out with us, and especially right now talking horror, which is right up his alley. But that is it for us over here at Spoiler Kings and with Perp Minded. Thank you guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and you can catch all of our Halloween must-watch movies for all of the month of October. We're going to be doing this all month with a bunch of other different guests as well. So make sure you come and check us out. Hit that like button, and we will see you guys in the next must-watch video. Later.
See you guys.